All right, moving on into the final segment of the day's show. Jack Dorsey, Twitter's old CEO, Twitter's founder. Sorry, feeding my dog. Twitter's founder. He doesn't understand why they didn't take the deal. Jack Dorsey rips Twitter's board, says it has constantly been the dysfunction of the company. So the board, like, maybe the board was the one making him do all that leftist crap, and now he's finally starting to see what we've all been trying to tell him. Because at first we thought he was a good dude, but then Tim Poo talks about it a lot. It's like, but he's complicit in all the leftist trash. But he thinks that the board's dysfunctional and not taking this deal, and he thinks that the board is the reason why the company's failing, and all of these things like that we've been talking about. But let's get into this final article. Cause I gotta go get shot records for my dog for doing the dog thing, and then I gotta get back and record some of the rest of the week's shows, because that's just how winning is done. Gotta get the shows out there for you guys, no matter what. Jack Dorsey rips Twitter's board, says it has constantly been the dysfunction of the company. Twitter co-founder and short-term board member Jack Dorsey called out his social media platform's board on Saturday, saying it's constantly been the dysfunction of the company. If sick, look into the history of the Twitter board. It's intriguing, as I was a witness of its early beginnings, mired in plots and coups, and particularly amongst Twitter's founding members. I wish, if sick, it could be made into a Hollywood thriller one day, one user tweeted. It's constantly been the dysfunction of the company, Dorsey replied. Are you allowed to say this? Another user tweeted. No, Dorsey replied. So, like, Dorsey really, like, maybe he was, like, being, like, because he was on the board, he had a fiduciary member, and he was just trying to, like, do what was right with the company when he was on these platforms and stuff like Joe Rogan and stuff. And maybe he just didn't want to get sued, and maybe now that it's too much for him because he's not really on the board or anything anymore, and he was like, nah, fuck that shit. Fuck you. Fuck that. Fuck this. Fuck your mom. Fuck everything. Dorsey's comments were replied to a Saturday tweet by venture capitalist Gary Tan, who posed, the wrong partner on the board can literally make $1 billion and the value evaporate. Just electing the wrong person and poof, your money's gone. Poof, your money's gone. It is not the sole reason behind every startup failure, but it is the true story a surprising percentage of the time. Another user replied, good boards don't create good companies, but a bad board will kill a company every time. Big facts, Dorsey replied. And I mean, it is. Like, if you put the wrong people that don't know what the fuck they're doing in charge of something, they're going to fail fucking miserably. That's why we don't put privates in charge of tactical decisions. We have sergeants and officers and stuff to control the men in the field and the, like, because I mean that's in a case where like bad decisions will get people killed, and unlike, but it works the same way. Like, you get the wrong people in charge of that unit, they're gonna do something fucking stupid on the battlefield, and people are gonna die. In Twitter's case, you got the wrong people on the board running that company. The company's gonna do something stupid, and it's gonna be worthless and or fail.
Winning? No. You suck!
Well, here's the tweets themselves. The wrong partner on the board. Big facts. Look into the history of Twitter board. It's intriguing. Oh, it's constantly been the dysfunction of the company. Are you allowed to say this? No. Dorsey stepped down as the company's CEO in November. He will remain a member of the board until its term expires at the 2022 meeting of stakeholders, according to the Twitter's new release from the year. So that's why he doesn't care, because he's getting the fuck out. Dorsey criticized comes after Twitter management on Friday enacted a limited duration shareholder rights plan, also called a poison pill, should it want to ward off billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's $43 million offer to buy the company made a week prior, Fortune previously reported. Twitter shares have risen roughly 15% since Musk's 9.2% stake in the company was announced on April 4th. Morgan Stanley is advising Musk, while Twitter has hired Goldman Sachs Group Inc. and J.P. Morgan and Chase Company, Bloomberg reports. And Goldman Sachs said it was a good fucking deal. Good fucking deal. They're the ones that said that it was fucking only worth like $30-something a share. And these people are not listening to them? Like, how do you hire somebody for financial advice or whatnot and not listen to what they say, unless they did advise them to do this despite them saying that your share is not worth this? Maybe like J.P. Morgan and Chase and all those like big banker establishment companies are the ones that own all the stock and all these things that owns everything that's ruining our lives, and maybe they just don't want to give up that power to like manipulate us and shit. I don't know. Maybe. I never know. I don't. I think this is leftists within the company trying to keep that power to control the narrative, and they're going to tank the company to keep that power because that's the true value of Twitter. The true value of Twitter is to control the narrative, and they don't want to give it to somebody that's a free speech absolutist. This man won't even ban the Russians. He gave the Ukrainians Starlink so they can continue to communicate after the Russians cut him off, and he won't ban the Russians because he's a freedom speech absolutist. You could be a borderline Bond villain. You could want to make you all fucking Borg drones or all the other stuff that you said, but he is still a free speech absolutist. He wants the public town square to be a world free speech public town square because he needs that to go to Mars. Like, you might not want a world union or world that's a completely another argument whether you're on board with that or not. But that's his ultimate goal. Free and open communications globally, relatively cheap free open communications globally, like free as in like you could say what, so you can communicate between, because you need that first before you can communicate between two fucking places. This is just common sense. This is all in his bid to go to Mars. Everything this guy does, everything that like Tesla, everything he does is to make money for SpaceX to go to Mars. Make money for SpaceX to go to Mars. Make money for SpaceX to go to Mars.
That's how winning is done.
That is his ultimate goal. That's all he cares about. The myth, the man, the legend, Elon Musk. Will he buy Twitter? Will he not buy Twitter? I don't know. You decide. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think Elon Musk's going to do? You think he's going to win, or do you think he's going to succeed in the hostile takeover, or do you think the board's going to stall him out and we're going to continue being shafted if you say the wrong things? You got to go to jail for the wrong thing. Let me know in the comments below. I'm just fucking saying. Thank you for checking out this clip of my Thought of the Day podcast. You can catch this podcast every Tuesday through Friday at that'sonpoint.info by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because that's how winning is done. New clips go out daily, and we can't do this without you, so we appreciate your support. With that being said, consider joining for $5 a month, and you get early access to the uncensored version of this, early access to our weekly That's On Point podcast, and access to exclusive content only for members. All the money that we receive is going to go funnel back into this to hire more journalists and do more things for you guys, because that's how winning is done. It really is. We got a merch store and stuff. You can help there, and if you can't help via money, you can always just leave a comment, and share this out there, because that helps us more than you can immensely know. That's the best way to help. Just leave a comment, and share. And if you're listening to us, leave a review. Leave a good review. Help us boost us in the podcast ratings and get us up there, because that's how winning is done. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.